a pretty big risk. But again, the risk doesn't matter as much if the Phillies are going to spend endlessly, because then the money
Yeah,
sort of becomes irrelevant. I think is a real test of their coaching.
yeah,
So if you take the example of Garrett Cole, he was another guy who had all this promise, great stuff. But when he was with the
yeah.
Pirates, he was basically meh.
I think that's a
Wheeler's
big thing.
been
Yeah,
a bit better than meh, but not a lot better than that, really. I mean, he's pretty much an average
yeah,
starting pitcher through his
yeah.
career
If
so
he
far.
went to the Astros, I think he may well become like a really very good pitcher. Um, but also with the Phillies, is like they've had like Eflin and Pivetta, who have similarly got really good stuff, but apart from like odd flashes, haven't really gone anywhere.
Yeah, they feel like
They've
similar
not
pitchers
developed.
to an extent.
Yeah, I think Zach Wheeler has more velocity than any of their current guys. But I mean, it's a similar sort of thing. If the Zach Wheeler has stuff on the Mets, most of the time he's not been that good, or as good as people think he could be. Um, and it's basically the Phillies have done the same thing with their guys that have good stuff. So I'm not really particularly confident that they're gonna make him into something else. I mean, I guess even the track record he's had for the past couple of seasons, I suppose, if he just did that for the Phillies, that would be pretty helpful for them at the moment because they are in a bit of a mess.
Yeah, he'd still be comfortably their second best starter.
Yeah,
But I think so that's how this will be framed, I think, this signing. It will almost be framed by who else they sign as much as how good he is. Because
yeah,
say they signed, let's not do Cole and Strasburg because that's sort of obviously changed everything so much. But say they got Ryu, and
yeah,
Ryu is really good. He basically is really good, and Wheeler then slots back into that third starter role, which
yeah.
is who he's been for his
Then that's
career.
good. Yeah, it's a way of doing things that not a lot of teams do now. But it's basically like you're doing the Yankees, which I guess they may well do that, and then it becomes a slightly different deal, doesn't it? Compared to whether
Yeah.
that is their main signing or not. Because if that's their main signing, then the Cards are going to be any better than this year.
No, if that's their
Really.
main signing, I think it's an enormous risk. I think
Yeah,
they would then be banking on him um, taking a leap to the point where he's almost as good as Nola or better.
yeah,
So that they've got this like two-headed monster at the front of their rotation.
yeah. But what they need really though is depth, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I mean, we've spent
They
so
just
many
need to.
hours on this podcast talking about the Phillies, and it
Yeah,
feels like the same old story. Is it's throwing cash at the problem.
yeah. I mean, they've basically spent all their prospects now, so they're no longer that up and coming team.
You
All their
got to do stuff.
prospects are gone, or
Stop
have
finishing
have
fourth in
been
the division,
promoted.
lads.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw just before we started recording, someone reporting that the Phillies apparently don't care about the luxury tax. I was like, well, okay. They kind of have to not care about the luxury tax. With the amount of money they've already got committed and how much work needs to
yeah.
be done to their roster, if they were going, oh no, we don't want to spend much more, well, okay, you're not going to win enough games then.
There is a bit of a question though. When they just take this approach that they have, is why did they bother with the rebuild? Why did they bother with the being bad bit? Or did they not mean to be bad? I don't know.
Because they haven't used any of it,
Yeah, I mean, it's like because of the way they're doing it. It's like you could have done this at any point.
pretty
Why
much.
didn't you do
Yeah.
this like 4 years ago or something?
Yeah, well, they traded for Real Muto, didn't they?
Yeah,
That was the only
I
one. The
guess.
others have all been free agent
Yeah,
acquisitions.
I,
It's
gu-
not
I
like,
guess there's like Reese Hoskins that's come through and actually been good.
yeah,
And
but
they've got a couple of guys through, but it's like it's not.
it's not like they've got a massive core like the
No.
Astros have had, where they've had all these guys on minimum coming up together, and then that's
Yeah,
been the center of their team. Um, yeah, it is a weird one. Are there any other things that we should touch on? Anything else happened?
yeah. Have you seen the trade that happened recently?
The FAM one.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, I don't really know what to make of that.
I would always be wary from a Padres perspective of dealing with the Rays.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
feels like you're very likely to get off.
See when you're giving away prospects. Xavier. I don't know. Xavier Edwards. I always say it like that. Apparently he's really good. Anyway, apparently
Yeah,
I've seen people say that he's like fairly highly rated prospect, so they're just adding a bit more to their young core. He's only 20 as well. His first round pick in 2018. But yeah, it's like it's that I feels like they had the outfield corner outfield surplus they've been saying for ages,
and they've blown it.
Yeah, because they traded Franmil Reyes before.
They got rid of the two best hitters out of it as well.
They got rid of the two best ones. Yeah, and they sort of got Pham back, who I assume will be playing on the corner. But I
didn't realise how much he's dropped off defensively.
Yeah, I know. I was seeing that.
I looked it up earlier. He was absolute nightmare defender now.
Because Renfro's also under control forever, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love him as a hitter. There's incredible power there, but it is a bit swing for the fences stuff. But getting him under control for ages and a really highly rated prospect, I don't know. I don't love it for the Padres. Partly because, like I said, my first inclination, if you're dealing with the Rays, is they're going to know more than you do.
Yeah, Hunter Renfro's going to be home run champion next year.
Yeah.
Probably.
And with the Padres, it's like they've been actually relatively quiet on the rumor mill so far. Have you found that?
The Padres, yeah.
I've seen lots of Reds and Twins, and the White Sox are popping up everywhere. But the Padres I haven't seen much of this time.
Actually, they traded Urias as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I almost forgot about that trade. What was that trade, actually? I've actually forgotten everything about it other than they traded Urias.
They got an outfielder. That was it.
Another one?
They got Zach Davies and Trent Grisham, and they gave up Eric Lauer and Luis Urias.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because neither of those guys... I mean, I suppose Zach Davis is the idea is he's going to be...
an anchor in their rotation.
Of an anchor, yeah, around their young guys coming through. It's like he's someone they can rely on. But yeah, Urias, though, like, one of these guys that was very, very highly rated not so long ago. Didn't work out in his, his first season.
Doesn't it feel a bit JP Crawford, potentially?
Yeah. What do you mean? What with the...
Well, he was meant to be the part of our sort of core, and then it didn't work out. And
it didn't work out immediately, and now we want to win. So you trade him away, and then it's still yet to see really what happens with JP Crawford. But yeah, he had quite a good year, didn't he, last year? I think across different levels.
I'm very wary of these teams, and I guess the Phillies and the Padres are very good examples of this, particularly as they both picked up the marquee acquisitions last off season. Teams that have been bad for a long time are now trying to be good. I think they just get a bit tetchy.
That's the key bit, isn't it? It's very easy to mess it up, it seems. And after all this time where you've been bad for a long time, to get ready for this moment, and it's the transition into actually being, consistently good.
Yeah,
they seem to mess up. I mean, I think the Padres could still be. I mean, I think that could end up being a good move because they did really need help in the rotation. I think, like someone a bit more experienced.
Trent Grisham really mashed in the minors last year and used to be a highly rated prospect. So there's upside there.
So with the corner outfielders they've got rid of, they've sort of got another young guy in. But that's the weird thing of it, isn't it? Is that they've in one way. They've transitioned from getting rid of Luis Urias as one of the guys that you would thought you're going to wait and give him some more chances because he's meant to be really good. They've switched that into like a veteran pitcher. Well, not quite a vet. He's not that old actually, Zach Davis, but he's more experienced. But then the other way, they've got rid of Renfro and Reyes last year, their best hitters in the corner outfield, and basically got Trent Grisham, who's probably going to play there a bit.
Bit of a dice roll.
So in the outfield, they've sort of gone the other way. You know what I mean? They've traded their experienced guy for a prospect.
Yeah, I sort of don't get it.
One of their prospects. They're sort of both the trades sort of going in the opposite direction. I feel like the Padres have done this a few times over the last few years.
Yeah, that's what I mean about being wary of them, though. And in
Yeah,
both cases, particularly because they've got their money committed and they're like, we've got our stars now, it's time to try and be good. And then they just start doing stuff. Is like, did they need to trade Hunter Renfrow away? I mean, what? And now you've replaced him with an outfielder who
he's just another corner outfielder.
he might turn out to be like Hunter Renfrow. Like I sort
Yeah,
of don't get it. It feels like I agree. Zach Davis was a nice pickup, but you could have picked up someone similar in free agency for not that much money. I mean,
yeah,
it's almost like they're moving stuff on the board because you've got the front office sat there like we're meant to be trying to win. Let's do some stuff. And I don't think they're necessarily negative. I agree with you that these moves could all turn out to be positive. They just feel a bit like just leave it alone. You've worked this
yeah,
long so that you're in a good position. You've got a great farm. You've got young players both at the upper minors and now in the major
yeah.
leagues.
I think that's the key thing of what the Braves have done. Really, is that they haven't messed around, have they? Really, they've not
No,
traded away any of their young guys, the ones that were actually good, at least. Um, and then have managed to just add these veterans on like short deals, like getting Donaldson for 1 year last year and stuff.
Keuchel even midway through
Yeah.
last year was a big one.
Instead of trading for someone, you know,
Yeah,
you can these guys that are left over at the end, that are still good veterans that you want to have to mix in with your young guys. I mean, very good veterans in some of them. In some cases, like Josh Donaldson, like you know, former MVP and stuff. Um, you know, you can pick those guys up without having to give up your prospects. It's sort of
Y-
the way to do it.
yeah. I mean, it's like Tommy Pham is a decent. Well, he's a bit better than a decent hitter. But did you need to do that?
Yeah,
Particularly at that price where they've given up a
like
prospect and Renfro.
like is he? Yeah, like he's not better than Renfro, is he?
No, he's only under control for 2 more years as well. I mean,
He's at less control than Renfro and
well,
possibly not as good a hitter. I don't know.
the upside's obviously not the same. Well, you've only got him for 2 years anyway. But like Renfro's potential is very high just because of the raw power.
Yeah,
I just find it slightly confusing. I don't. I'm not really against it per se. It's a question mark. Like why did you do it? What was the point?
yeah. Well, I was saying I feel they've done a few things over the last few years where they've done deals that contradict each other. Like what was it with the when they traded away Brad Hand a couple of years ago? What was that when they traded away Brad Hand and
Oh,
um,
Adam Simba, wasn't it?
yeah, and they who did they get? Oh yeah, they got Francisco Mejia. He was like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good prospect, but that was like a few months after they signed Eric Hosmer to that long-term deal,
Yeah.
as in like
Yeah.
a win now. We're winning now with Eric Hosmer. A few months later, trade away like their elite closer, who I think he had a few more years control. Actually, is he still under control?
Yeah, yeah, he is. Yeah,
He
he's not
is
in free
exactly. So he
agency.
had a few years of control, like they could do with him now.
Yeah.
So they just
Well,
sort of
imagine if they
transitioned to
had
win now mode. A couple of
they
months
had
later,
him and Kirby Yates.
yeah,
Blimey.
yeah, and then they trade him away for another prospect, and it feels like they've sort of done a similar thing here. They've traded away a prospect to get Zach Davis. It's like, okay, good. They need an experienced pitcher to try and compete, but then it's like, okay, then you've traded away Hunter Renfroe. I mean, they got Tommy Pham back, who I suppose is also another experienced guy, but they're probably going to play Trent Grisham on the corner quite a lot. But it's like, could have just kept Hunter Renfroe and played him there. He's under control for a long time. You know he's good. It's sort of they're sort of going both ways at the same time. It doesn't really make sense. A lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's
things. Well, like you said earlier, actually, and we've got to finish very, very quickly, actually. But I just want to make a point, like you said earlier, of the trades being. You said it specifically about one of the trades, the deals earlier, the Wheeler deal. That in the whether it's good or not really depends on the context of the other deals they do, which I think is the case with every deal, and with the Padres, is like if you did half of them together, they'd be good, and the other half together, they'd be good deals. But they're just mixing them up. It sometimes doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you want to say anything very, very quickly? Because we need to stop in.
No, no, not really. I don't think
Okay.
there's anything bad.
Okay. Goodbye then, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.